I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya reveals advice he gave to Alex Pereira about fighting Jan Błachowicz during an airport meeting. Israel Adesanya offered a useful insight for his former middleweight rival. After a brief reign on the UFC middleweight throne, former two-division kickbox glory champion Alex Pereira is now heading to a new division. Alex Pereira went 4-1 at 185 pounds middleweight division, a run that included a memorable. Oh, let's try to get this pop up out of here. A memorable title crowning moment at UFC 281 last November. Pereira recorded his third combat sports victory over Israel Adesanya with a fifth round TKO stoppage victory. After that, Israel, the last style bender Adesanya, secured an immediate and very violent redemption this past April at the Miami held UFC 287. Israel Adesanya basically knocked Alex Pereira out cold with a KO. It wasn't a TKO, it wasn't a referee stoppage, it was a KO in the second round. With that said, he's quickly readjusted his sights on a new piece of gold, the UFC light heavyweight championship Alex Pereira has. Pereira's pursuit of that belt will get underway this July in Utah when Pereira debuts in the division by co-headlining UFC 291 versus former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Błachowicz, ahead of what many have branded an incredibly tough test for his divisional debut. I mean, it's very true. Pereira has received some advice from what someone would say somewhat unlikely of a source. Israel Adesanya I told Pereira to be patient. Although their rivalry has been filled with taunts and some widely debated post-fights celebrations, it is very true. Israel Adesanya and Pereira have long expressed respect for each other, and that was evident during a recent friendly airport encounter that was captured on film by both men. Yeah, during a recent appearance on the Impulsive podcast, go and support the Impulsive podcast. Hit thumbs up, give them a subscribe. Podcast with Logan Paul. Israel Adesanya revealed parts of the interaction that weren't posted on social media, including the advice he gave to Alex Pereira about sharing the octagon with Jan Błachowicz. This is what Israel Adesanya says. Me and Alex Pereira talked, went through security, took off our shoes, Israel Adesanya recalled, and then we were waiting for our bags to come through the belt, and then we talked. I was like, Jan Błachowicz next year, he's fighting the guy, first MMA loss for me when I went up to 205 pounds. He kind of has the same idea. Though our limited conversation skills, because of my English and his Portuguese, we kind of had the same idea of what's going to happen. But I had to let him know I thought the same thing when I fought Jan. I thought Jan was going to attack me a bit more, but he was patient, Israel Adesanya says. So I kind of let Pereira know, you need to be patient too. I didn't want to say much, but yeah, that's interesting. Is there anything else in this article? Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure there was translators there. I'm pretty sure when from the video I saw, there was translators there that they were talking about. My take on this story is definitely, it's cool to see people who have fought, 4 times? They've had 4 fights, 2 MMA fights, and 2 kickboxing fights. Pereira is 3-1 versus Israel Adesanya. It's cool, real recognize real. So it's cool to see that, they can fight in the cage but still be, clearly civil and really respectful to each other when they don't have a fight coming up versus each other. It's just like, it's a sport, it's their job, it's what they love to do, but they don't see each other. It's not on site when they see each other, even though they've literally fought 4 times. It's kind of crazy that they could, see each other at the airport and just have basically a normal, regular conversation. My problem with this is that I personally don't understand why Alex Pereira is fighting Jan Błachowicz so early, right? The fight is happening I believe in July. Alex Pereira got viciously, and I mean viciously, knocked out cold in the second round in April, right? April, May, June, July, right? How many months is that? Is that 3? I feel like that maybe 3 months. So after someone gets viciously knocked out cold, shouldn't there be a little bit more? It should be the 3 to 4 to, I'm not going to say 6 months, but there should be at least 3 months, right? 3 months of just no type of, fights, right? So I'm a little bit surprised to see Alex Pereira come back and fight before Israel Adesanya. I believe Israel Adesanya next fight will most likely be in September. So I find it crazy that, you can knock somebody out cold and they could come back and fight 2 months before you. I don't understand that at all. Especially because Jan Błachowicz, I know a lot of people are saying, he's a great wrestler. He's really good at wrestling. And things like that. And, in this fight, he should utilize his wrestling skill versus Alex Pereira. But I'm an MMA casual, but I know Jan Błachowicz from what he liked to call the legendary Polish power, right? Isn't that what he calls it? Legendary Polish power? He will knock people out. And but the good thing about this is that Alex Pereira, his training, his coach, his mentor is Glover Teixeira, right? So no disrespect to Israel Adesanya in any way, shape, or form. I just personally, you can get advice from anybody, right? It's always cool to get advice. I just think it would be a little, if you really need advice on Jan Błachowicz, ask Glover Teixeira, who defeated Jan Błachowicz. I believe it was a second round stoppage or something like that by submission. So when it comes to defeating Jan Błachowicz, I think Alex Pereira basically has that covered because his corner person, his mentor, his coach is Glover Teixeira, and Glover Teixeira already has a victory over Jan Błachowicz. But definitely very helpful advice from Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya fight versus Jan Błachowicz, that was 5 rounds. So Pereira, he can't be too patient versus Jan Błachowicz, because this is only going to be a 3-round fight versus Jan Błachowicz. But let me know your opinion of this story. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about Israel Adesanya reveals that he gave Alex Pereira advice about fighting Jan Błachowicz during their airport meeting. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.